Jill. I'm a clinical dietitian at the Center for Community Health and Prevention, and it's the holiday season. And as a dietitian, this is a challenging time for many of us, many of my patients who come into clinic. And so I thought it would be really cool to share something that was joyous, that can also be applicable to nutrition for folks who are just trying to get through the holidays and think about how they might change their health this year through the holidays. One of the most common things that I hear is, okay, I just gotta get through the holidays and then I'm back on track or back on my plan. And that's totally cool, totally fine. However, holidays come year after year, right? We live for the holidays. And so wouldn't it be nice to actually enjoy the holidays and have a little bit of the piece of that health with it? And so part of what I try and encourage, and that I do, and I'm gonna do right here, is let's merge the two worlds, right? We wanna have health so we can enjoy the holidays. We don't want to be at the holidays and sacrifice them to have our health. So it takes a balance. Balance is key here. And so in my house, we celebrate two holidays around the Christmas season. It's Christmas and Hanukkah. And so Hanukkah's coming up. And I like potatoes because I'm Polish. And so I like to make Latkes. So that's what I'm making for you today. Some people call them Latkes. I call them Latkes. That's what I'm going to choose to call them today. They're very special for us around the holidays, specifically around Hanukkah. And they can actually be inexpensive, a great starch to add to a balanced plate, and totally a delicious vehicle for anything you want to put on them. So honestly, I haven't tried yet, but I could actually see myself making them buffalo chicken wing style. So today we're gonna just make them, and then you can adapt them however you'd like, but it's a way of having something that's really homey to me, but also enjoyable because I love potatoes. And I leave the skin on so it has a little bit of fiber. I pair it with some dill. Often I'm gonna show you here, I'm gonna pair it with some lox, some smoked salmon, which is healthy omega-3 fats. And it feels really balanced to me. I'm a sour cream gal, so that gets my dairy food group, but I know many people in my family who are actually applesauce people. And so you can do either or. Let's get to it, okay? So I have my grater kind of filter on my food processor. You could use a box grater, however you want to do it. Grating it is the key. I'm using russet potatoes. I have about 2 pounds of russets, and it's gonna get really loud. So I'm gonna quiet my mouth now, and we're gonna do some grating. Okay, so I grated the potatoes, and part of what makes a good latke for me is the crispiness, and so I want them extra crispy. Some people like them cakey, more like pancakes, but my jam is I want them crispy like hash browns. So part of what I'm gonna do is, this is 2 pounds of potatoes grated. I have a big bowl. I'm gonna put them in. You could use cheesecloth, you could use paper towels, coffee filters work. You wanna strain these puppies so that they get rid of all their water. So I'm gonna dump this into the bowl, strain them, and I'm gonna grate 1 onion. What helps too when you're getting the potatoes soaking is to put a little bit of salt in them so that they release their juices a little bit more. So I put a little bit of Himalayan or Flake Maldon salt. Totally don't have to. And now I'm gonna grate the onion. Okay, perfect. Now in like real world time, I'm leaving those potatoes and I'm leaving them sit for like probably a half hour. I'm gonna forget about them. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna get, all set for the rest of part of my dinner. But right now, that's not what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna kind of get right to it. Okay, my eyes are watering from how fresh that onion was. So these particular potatoes and onion were really juicy. So what I've done is I've got a colander and a big bowl, and I'm just gonna kind of push the potatoes into the colander to get all that potato starch out. That water, if you leave it in, it makes the latkes gummy and gooey, and they don't crisp up, and they just don't taste right. Oh my goodness, those onions. Woo! See, okay, and you can see the bottom part is like, so again, if you have time, just let them sit there. Cheesecloth is fine. I'm just giving it a good old press in this sieve, or if you have a colander. I'll show you the fluid after. Kind of just rotating it in between. And I'm changing out my paper towels as I go. This will also integrate the onion. You could use sweet potatoes here too. I'm breaking up the bits so that I can access all of the potato in here and squeeze it all out. Okay, so I'm gonna take this out, and now what I'm gonna do is grab it. See, watch this. As I grab a chunk, and I just kind of squeeze it like that. That's another way to do it. And you kind of do it bit by bit. And it's a little messy, but honestly, it's not so bad. And I'm just taking kind of a handful. I'm squeezing it into this bowl. I'm a stickler. I don't know. I really like crispy things. So I'm working very hard to get this dry, but you didn't have to do like these extra steps if you don't want to. So I'm gonna get rid of this, and then we're gonna use this bowl to mix the mixture. Okay, so while I am making the mixture, I want to heat a cast iron pan behind me. You can see it. I use cast iron because I like the iron, and I also like the crispiness that it offers. We need to preheat this baby. You can't just turn it on and go. It's got to get hot. So typically I get a neutral. I use peanut oil because it's pretty neutral. It has a little bit of a nutty flavor, but I like it. And then I just give it a good pour. And I'm going to turn my stove to high, maybe medium high, and just get that pan a-rockin'. It'll take about 3 minutes to heat up, and I'll just check it like this with my hand to make sure it's real hot. Wiping out the bowl because it has some potato starch left in it. All right, so we are dumping this potato in here. Next, you can use whatever type of flour suits your fancy. So if you're gluten-free, you can use a gluten-free flour. I am using matzo meal just because that is what my family uses. It is ground up matzah. Okay. We're doing 2 tablespoons in here. It's just like kind of like makes it cakey. They do make gluten-free matzo meal. And then we need 2 eggs. You could do, so mine are regular eggs. You could do vegan eggs, so you can make a ground flaxseed egg, and that works just fine. I'm gonna crack them into a separate vessel just so that I can whisk them, and so that if I get any shells, it's not going in the mixture that I just spent all that time doing. And honestly, you can see it's not taking very long. It's something that kids could do too. So I'm gonna whisk these eggs. And then I'm going to pour it in the mixture. And then sprinkle a little salt. My pan is getting hot, I can see. So I'm going to turn it down slightly. I'm going to mix this up, and then I'm just going to start making little cakes once it's ready. So what you want to have next to your cast iron pan is what you're gonna do with these latkes once they're done. So once they're done, you need to have a plate, or I use a cookie sheet, and you can absolutely put some paper towels down, which I will, to get the grease off so that it absorbs some of the grease so they're nice and light. So I'm giving this a really good mix. Okay, and then the size of your latke totally is up to you. I'm kind of giving it a good little, just palm size, okay? And I want them to cook relatively quickly, so I'm just gonna kind of slap him in there. See, and flatten him out. Let me bring you closer. All right, there you go. And we just continue to do that. And I'm gonna jack up, I want it just a slight bit hotter. Don't overcrowd the pan. I wish you could smell these. So I've kind of been, you gotta kind of babysit them. You can see the edges are getting a little crispy. So you don't want to try and flip them too soon because then they'll fall apart. And you want to be careful when you flip them so that you don't have oil flying at your face. So that guy, I'm just gonna continue to pat down. Sometimes you have to do a double flip. It's okay. I just want to get them kind of sealed up. Yeah, look at that guy. Now, you could also, if you were trying to cut back on saturated fat and the use of oils, you could absolutely make this mixture and put it in like an air fryer or do it in the oven and cook it. You just have to make sure that they're crispy on the outside and that they're cooked through on the inside. I find this takes about maybe 3 minutes per side. All right. So we're rocking and rolling with these. They've cooked once on each side. I can feel them getting crispier. Ooh, yeah. So this is the second time on that first side. I just like mine very crispy, so notice I'm pushing them down quite a bit. Some of my friends have those black stones. You could absolutely use a flat top griddle. It's really just, you need a high heat, a little bit of oil to get them nice and crispy. Okay, these are almost done. You really want to make sure that's when you shred the potatoes, you really want to make sure the insides of these are cooked. You don't want uncooked potatoes. That's not fun. Okay. And so I'm going to take these out. You see how they're kind of dripping with the oil? And you want to put them on a paper towel. Okay, and my secret, I'm going to turn down this oil because as you cook, it's going to get hotter and hotter. The key for me is I want a little bit of salt on the top, like that crispy kind of flaky salt. And then I'm a big dill person. My family loves dill. So I always put dill. You rip it right off the stem. I get fresh dill. And sprinkle it on top. Okay, we're finishing. So this was pulled from this waiting tray right here. You can see that grease mark. We've got some still going. This is the bowl. And then here's the finished product. Okay, and so I have a little bit of the dill, the fresh dill here with that salt. I have the sour cream and I have the lox. All right, here we go. So delicious. Balanced. Part of my family's holiday festivities, culture, and it is definitely embracing my health. So a lot of balance goes a long way for your holiday season. I wish you happy holidays. Thanks for watching.